She wasn't on the agenda. No one saw her name. But when Angelina Jolie stood up from the back row of the auditorium, the entire room froze. This wasn't a red carpet. There were no lights, no cameras, just concerned parents, and a school board that had no idea who was about to confront them. The school board meeting had already been dragging on for over an hour. Rows of parents sat in tense silence, their frustration barely contained. The air in the auditorium was thick with unease. The board members, seated at a long table on the stage, exchanged weary glances. They had faced concerned parents before, but nothing like this, because tonight, in the back of the room, stood someone no one had expected: Angelina Jolie. Before we continue this story, let us know where you're watching from. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we have another special story for you. Angelina sat quietly at first, listening. She wore a simple black blazer, her hair pulled back. No cameras, no entourage, just her. But her presence alone was electric. A mother stepped up to the microphone, her voice shaking. "My son came home from school crying last week. He told me he's being forced to participate in discussions that make him uncomfortable. When I spoke up, I was told I was the problem." A murmur spread through the audience. The board members whispered amongst themselves. But before they could respond, Angelina stood up. All heads turned. The room fell silent. She walked toward the microphone, her heels clicking against the floor with quiet confidence. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice calm yet firm. "But I need to understand something." The board members exchanged nervous glances. Angelina locked eyes with them. When did parents stop being allowed to have a say in their own children's education? The tension in the room skyrocketed, and the board had no idea what was coming next. For a moment, the school board members just stared at Angelina Jolie, as if unsure how to respond. The room was frozen, the tension unbearable. Finally, one of the board members, a man in his late 50s with thinning gray hair, cleared his throat. He forced a stiff smile. "Ms. Jolie, we appreciate your concern, but we have policies in place to ensure a well-rounded education for all students." Angelina tilted her head slightly. "A well-rounded education?" she repeated. "Is that what you call forcing children to adopt perspectives they don't fully understand, while silencing their parents when they question it?" A murmur ran through the crowd. Parents nodded in agreement. Some even started clapping softly. The board member shifted in his seat. "We welcome parental involvement, but ultimately, our educators are the professionals." Angelina's gaze sharpened. "Professionals?" she said slowly. "Then tell me something. Why are so many parents here tonight begging to be heard?" The clapping grew louder. The board members exchanged anxious glances. One of them, a woman in a navy blue blazer, leaned toward the microphone. "We're simply following national education guidelines." Angelina crossed her arms. "And what happens when those guidelines fail our kids?" The woman opened her mouth, but no words came out. The room erupted. Some parents stood, shouting their frustrations. Others shook their heads in disbelief. The board members tried to calm the chaos, but the shift had already happened. Because Angelina Jolie hadn't just asked a question, she had exposed a system. The tension in the room had reached a boiling point. Parents, once silent and afraid of speaking up, were now voicing their frustrations. The school board, overwhelmed by the unexpected pushback, shuffled uncomfortably in their seats. Angelina Jolie didn't move. She simply watched the board members struggle to regain control of the meeting. Finally, the chairman, an older man with wire-rimmed glasses, raised his hand for silence. "Ms. Jolie, he said, forcing a calm tone. "We understand your concerns, but surely you realize that education must evolve with society." Angelina's lips pressed together. Then she took a step forward. "Evolving doesn't mean replacing a child's innocence with political agendas," she said, her voice unwavering. "It doesn't mean taking power away from parents." A murmur of agreement spread through the audience. The chairman sighed. "Ms. Jolie, we assure you that parents still play a role in their children's education." Angelina lifted an eyebrow. "Really? Then tell me, when was the last time you actually listened to them?" Silence. One of the parents, a woman gripping a folder of printed emails, suddenly stood up. "I've sent 14 emails asking for answers about my child's curriculum," she said, her voice shaking. Not one response. Another father followed. "I've been banned from my daughter's school meetings for questioning what they're teaching." The board members exchanged uneasy glances. Angelina turned back to them, her voice calm but cutting. "This isn't just about curriculum. This is about trust. And right now, you've lost it." The audience erupted. Some parents stood, cheering. Others called for resignations. The school board's confidence had crumbled. And Angelina Jolie? She had just changed the conversation forever. The school board members looked shaken. What had started as a controlled meeting had turned into a full-scale reckoning. Parents weren't just watching anymore, they were demanding answers. And at the center of it all stood Angelina Jolie, unmoved, unshaken. The chairman cleared his throat. "Ms. Jolie, with all due respect, these matters are complex. We can't allow every parent to dictate policy." Angelina folded her arms. "This isn't about every parent dictating policy. This is about transparency, something you clearly don't believe in," the audience murmured. Some parents shook, their heads in disbelief. Angelina turned to face the crowd. "You're being told that you don't have a say, that your concerns don't matter." She gestured to the board. "But look at them. Do they really believe they're working for you?" The board members sat stiffly. No one spoke. A father in the back stood up. "We elected you to represent us, not to ignore us." A mother followed. "If you won't listen to us, then we'll replace you with people who will." The energy in the room shifted. This wasn't just a complaint session anymore. This was a movement. Angelina locked eyes with the chairman. "You don't have to agree with every parent in this room, but you do have to listen to them. Because if you don't," she paused, glancing at the crowd, "you won't be sitting in those seats for much longer." Thunderous applause. Parents stood, clapping, cheering. Some even chanted for resignations. The school board had lost control, and they knew it. The chairman wiped his brow. We will review these concerns and address them appropriately." Angelina didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She just nodded. "That's a start," she said, "but we'll be watching." With that, she turned, walking toward the exit, parents rising to follow her lead. The school board had come prepared to shut down the discussion. Instead, they had just witnessed the beginning of something far bigger than they could have imagined. If you believe parents deserve a voice, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Should school boards be held accountable?